Ah, Jalisco, my old friend. I find myself smack dab in the middle of Mexico on a quest for tequila. Not just any old agave juice. I'm looking for something special. Something that's steeped in tradition and quality. And just like super tasty and delicious and stuff, you know? So I decided to don my most impressive and culturally sensitive indigenous garb and whistle the song of Jalisco to get closer to the spirit of, well, the spirit. The journey was arduous and long and hard, but worth it if it leads me to the doorstep of arguably one of the greatest tequilas of all time ever.
In the world.
Tommy, you look ridiculous. Lose the outfit, let's go make some amazing tequila.
Okay.
I've made a career serving up drinks from behind the bar. Now I'm on a mission across the country and the world to serve up the stories behind the spirits themselves. I'm Tommy the Bartender, and this is Story of the Spirit. All right, y'all. Who wants a shot of tequila? Want another one? See what I did there? Shots? Anywho, this is Tequila, a small town in Jalisco, Mexico that takes history and tradition seriously. And it's the place to be if you want to learn about the other tequila as well. Museo Los Abuelos is one of the 2 impressive museums in this little town dedicated to its namesake spirit.
You can see remnants of where this once was a family residence. Just looking in here at the floor, right? There's 3 different tilings, so I think these were all the individual bedrooms.
Bedrooms going through here? Okay.
Yeah, going through here.
It wasn't just any old family that lived here either. It was the Sauzas, one of the most important tequila-making families ever. Don Zenobio Souza is known to history as the father of tequila. But to my new friend Billy here, he'd have been called great-great-great-grandfather.
This was my great-great-great-grandfather's desk. This was his typewriter.
Lots and lots of history here.
As a kid, I used to come in here all the time with my grandmother, and she would get on the ground and play with me. You remember micro machines?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Yes.
I would drive those around and shut some swords in the other room that I would, take off the wall and kind of swing around.
As a 7-year-old, you see a sword on the wall? I mean, obviously you want to play. Swing, swing. I mean, as a 41-year-old, that's still a paradise. I would love it.
It's trippy, to say the least, right? She was like, no, this is a museum. And I'm like, no, this is our family stuff.
It's basically impossible to tell the story of the tequila industry without talking about the Souza family. Just a few generations after Don Zenobio bought his first distillery, Don Francisco Javier Souza changed the game even more.
So this kind of shows the 4 different stages of tequila. And so here we've got the Native Americans cultivating tequila. You can see there, those guys were cooking in an earthen pit, and that's a lot of what mezcals still do today. And then here we have the first industrialized process of tequila. Off to the right here, this is actually what kind of the legacy that my great-grandfather left was the modernization of tequila. He was one of the first people to put roller mills in and put autoclaves in and sort of make tequila a really commercial product. Really took Tequila Souza from being a solid brand to a really large one. He died a year before I was born, but his legacy to me was always very much alive because I've walked around and read all of these individual awards. He had the California legislature pass a day honoring him, right? He got the key to the city of Los Angeles, I think on 2 different occasions. He was pen pals with John Wayne.
Somebody ought to belt you in the mouth, but I won't. I won't. The hell I won't.
It's unbelievable.
Back in the 70s, Don Francisco sold Tequila Souza. Thanks in part to his innovations in production efficiency, it continues to be one of the biggest tequila brands in the world to this day. Francisco's grandson, Guillermo Souza, Billy's dad, took the family property in one old distillery, which had been shut down for being quote-unquote inefficient, and founded a new brand to keep his grandfather's tradition alive. Tequila Los Abuelos, or as it's known outside of Mexico, Tequila Fortaleza, was born. It is a way tougher bottle to find, but it's a celebrated brand in the tequila world and highly sought after by bartenders and tequila aficionados alike.
Pretty much nobody has the history that Fortaleza has. Talking about Don Zenobio Souza and what he meant to the industry of tequila, to the distillery where Don Zenobio used to make it, that history is not something that you can replicate.
Fortaleza just blew me away. People say to me all the time, oh, this is the tequila that made me like tequila again. It's special.
Seeing how Fortaleza is made is something that clicked on me, that I was like, oh, I'm gonna be obsessed with this.
Next stop, Distillería La Fortaleza. Pardon my Spanish, Rosetta Stone 12%. Back before roller mills, autoclaves, and diffusers, there were 5 basic steps between this and this. Chop the agaves into piñas, bake them and turn the starches into sugars.
Then you squeeze out all the juices and ferment those juices.
And then, after a couple of rounds of distillation, voila, tequila is born.
Did I get that right?
Pretty close.
My tour guide, Mitch, explains that at Fortaleza, every one of those steps is an opportunity to prioritize quality over quantity, starting with the agaves themselves.
If you notice the redness, that's what we call pinto. At Tequila Fortaleza, we use 3 ingredients: fully mature ripe agave, yeast, water. No additives ever.
Mitch also happens to be the king of cooking analogies. These reddened agaves, he says, are like the bruised bananas that make the best banana bread.
If you just want to crank out as much banana bread as possible, you can use green bananas and just crank it all out. Isn't it better to use fully ripe or even overripe banana and then slowly bake it the way it was done back in your grandmother's time?
Now it's time for us, like the piñas that make the cut, to punch our golden ticket to inside the distillery and straight into an oven.
This is my first interview in an agave oven.
Now we're standing inside of our 15-ton oven. Most distilleries nowadays are more modern, more industrial, so they'll be using autoclaves, giant pressure cookers, or even a machine called a diffuser. Here at Fortaleza, we're still using an old brick oven. We pump steam in and we slowly cook the agave for a day and a half.
A little like baking a potato, if you do it the right way instead of my way, aka the lazy way.
Yes, you could throw it in the microwave and technically it's cooked. We don't want to rush the process. We want to take it nice, slow and low.
Thanks to TV Magic, we get to see the results right away by going to their other brick oven.
This is fresh cooked agaves.
It smells great in here. You get like this sweet aroma, like just baked sweet potatoes, but super sweet.
So give it a little taste.
I just went with it. I just went ahead and just took it, man.
I do good.
Oh yeah. It's like brown sugar sweet.
Without this, you don't get great tequila.
To put that brown, sugary goodness to use, it's out of the oven and into the rest of the distillery.
It's just the way tequila was made 150 years ago, a portal to a different time. The only difference is that tahona, the stone milling wheel, is being dragged around by a little electric tractor instead of a donkey.
Don't let that modern convenience fool you, though. Processing all of this agave takes a lot of elbow grease and about 2 tons of volcanic stone in the form of the original tahona that's been going around in circles for a long time.
It's been in this distillery for over 100 years. Stone milling, it's almost like the first press when it comes to olives. You're getting the best quality juice.
All right. I like the food analogies too, the bananas to the sweet potatoes to the first press olives. It really breaks it down for me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I like to eat.
I love it.
The tahona may leave a lot of agave on the table, but it turns out when you only take the first press, it's good enough to drink on its own.
There's no alcohol in this yet. This is just agua miel. This is just the sweet juice.
Oh man, it's still sweet, but like a semi-sweet, a little bit different than the fibers that I tasted, but this is delicious. I mean, like really good. You don't want any, do you?
Please. Salud. This is what we're going to pump up into the wooden fermentation vats where they will stay for between 3.5 and 4.5 days.
Just creating all that delicious alcohol.
You know it. We prefer Oyamel. It's a hardwood from Michoacan, so it's one state over, has really tight grain, very little sap, but the key aspect of this wood is it absorbs the heat, so it's not putting heat back into the fermentation, which helps us control the speed of the fermentation.
After a few days in the vats, all that's left is to distill it into a spirit.
Again, the industry nowadays, giant stainless steel with a copper coil or maybe 4-story tall coffee or column stills. We're still using handmade copper pot stills. Every drop of Fortaleza comes off this middle still here at 46% still strength. My personal favorite.
Now, industry standard is to distill down to about 55% alcohol to make it cheaper to store. But I guess when you put the good stuff in, you want to cook as little of it off as you can.
If you really want to know about a tequila, drink the Blanco. And if you have the opportunity to drink the Blanco right off the still, that is the best you're going to get.
Yeah.
You get all the taste of the agave. The land is the purest form of the expression.
I'm just kidding. No, this is, yeah. I can say what is your favorite. I can say why it's your favorite.
Whenever I take a sip of it, it immediately brings me right back to this little town of tequila.
It's tasty stuff, man.
After all the love and care that goes into the tequila, they need an equally artisan container to bottle it in.
And the bottles are all made of recycled glass in a little town called Tonalá.
So actually, from the very beginning, it was us working with them.
Hace aproximadamente unos 18 años.
That's about the time Hippolito made a name for himself by creating the largest hand-blown tequila bottle in the world. Shortly after that, Guillermo hired the folks here to make Fortaleza's bottles and never looked back.
I think Guillermo liked to work with us because his vision of his work is to keep a community and keep it in the small families and workers and mostly Mexicans, you know? And that's also why they keep with us, because I know that it's not so cheap to buy the bottles from us because they're really handmade. I'm telling you guys, it's not that easy to make them. Really, really, next time you have a Fortaleza bottle, please do something with it. Pour water in it, flowers, a candle, whatever it is, paint it, but don't throw it away because it was really hard work behind it.
Once the bottles get back to the distillery, most of Fortaleza's expressions are bottled at 80 proof, so it needs to get proof down from 46% alcohol to 40.
We have aquifers below the property, so when it rains and when water comes off the volcano, it goes down into these natural holding tanks, and that's the water we use.
Very nice. Like, everything's on property. That's incredible. Even Fortaleza's iconic bottle toppers are molded, painted, and sanded by hand right here on site. The labels are printed a couple of towns over, but still, by the time it's ready to ship out, every bottle is pretty special, inside and out. But so is the spot Mitch is taking me to taste the Blanco and Repo. Oh my God. I appreciate this island canopy setting. It's very romantic. And before you ask, the answer is yes.
Well, you must know, the more you drink, the better I look. So Fortaleza Blanco came off the still at 46% ABV, 92 proof. We added demineralized water to get it from 46% to 40%, and that is what you're about to enjoy.
Nice. Cheers.
You get more of the minerality of the soil, more of the vegetal aspects of the plant itself.
Oh yeah, that's a smoother transition than the still strength, although they're both incredible.
So reposado means rested. Our reposado is rested for a minimum of 6 months. We get old whiskey barrels, we chip them out, and then we re-toast them. And that's where you're getting your flavor. We don't want our tequila to taste like whiskey.
A really good reposado. And like, I don't want to sound cliche where it's like, oh, there's no familiar tequila burn, but like tequila, it's not supposed to burn. I mean, you get all the purity, you get all the flavor, you get everything here, man. You taste all the love, for sure.
Truthfully, if it says Fortaleza on the label, just drink it. It's amazing stuff. Share it with your friends.
Yeah. No hoarding, okay? Yeah. Cheers.
Salud.
Are you still sipping on that still strength?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. You weren't lying, man. In my happy place.
So good. So good.
All right. I think now's a good time to cut away from the romantic island scene and meet the man himself, the founder of Fortaleza, Guillermo Souza, for a tour of the property, with an adorable little escort from some of the pups he's rescued from around town.
Well, if you have 2, you can have 6. If you have 6, you can have 12.
I need you to tell my wife that. We have 2, and I want another one.
Yeah. Well, this used to be the jungle out here. My grandfather did almost all of this. We're just really the caretakers. I remember walking the fields with my grandfather when I was a kid and not really being interested in it. You know how that is.
Yeah, exactly, when you're a kid.
But I wasn't interested like I am today. Agave farming is really a lot of work, and it's a real science. And I learned about grading and all that stuff. You want to get drainage, at least 1% slope. You get the water off of it, the agave does pretty good, but if it sits in water, it will not do well. And generally speaking, February through June, we get no rain. And then the rainy season starts June, it turns on like a faucet. So we don't give it any water at all, but it needs a lot of care. If you don't clean your agave, you're gonna have weeds higher than the agave, and it'll cover the agave. So you gotta be running the tractor through there, and then they clean by hand in between the agaves. You have to watch for the bugs, you have to watch for diseases, or you won't have any agave left.
Each of the thousands of plants that will eventually end up in Fortaleza's oven have to be cared for 6 to 9 years before they fully matured and ripened.
The first 3 years are the most important, that the root system get well developed. What you're looking at on our left here is about the 7th crop I've seen planted here in my life. 9-month-old plants. This will probably be harvested at, well, it's hard to think that far ahead, but 2030, can you believe it?
Yeah. This is a painting, Guillermo. This is a freaking painting right here, man.
Isn't it amazing? If you look at our añejo bottle, the sketch that we have on there, this is it right here.
Yeah.
On each of our bottles, we wanted to have a sense of place. And so when people who have been here pick up the bottle, they're like, oh my God,
I recognize this, yeah. Like this little picture right here, if we're doing this is beautiful. This is a perfect, this is going to be my screensaver, if that's okay. Yeah. We've got to. I don't know, what side's your good side? Probably both?
Yeah, look at that, see? As the sun hits the agave, it's just a very, very beautiful, tranquil view. In the mornings, I come out here and bring my coffee with me, figure out what I'm gonna do for the day. And you know, not many people have this drive to work.
This is perfect, the perfect commute.
And for the perfect ending to our tour, we head into Cava La Fortaleza, a cave with an intimate little bar.
Yes.
Well, can I invite you to a shot here?
Absolutely.
I have this nice Rito glass.
Appreciate that.
Then we have my glass.
I hardly think that's fair. A great distiller once told me, añejo. Añejo for breakfast, añejo for lunch, añejo for dinner.
At the age that I have to drink a lot less, so what I drink is añejo. This kind of glass opens it up, and then people think I'm drinking Chardonnay, but it's not. Salud.
Cheers. That's delicious.
Goes well with a creme brulee.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure. On our golf ride, I could tell you have a lot of great pride in everything that you do here.
Well, this was a dream. My grandfather sold salsa when I was about 20 years old, back in 1976. And I had always grown up thinking that I would run tequila salsa, and then boom, the bubble burst. He sold it, you know. And we were fortunate enough to keep all of this property specifically here with this tiny little distillery that we were able to repair. We saw this niche market that people want to drink what their grandparents drink, the way that their grandparents or their great-grandparents made it. My wildest dreams, I never thought we'd work more than one shift. I never thought it'd be more than a part-time hobby. And it's turned out to be a full-time job.
Now, before you start whining about not being able to find a bottle of this stuff, keep in mind, these folks work in shifts 24 hours a day, 6 days a week for us, putting in that good old-fashioned work.
We're doing something it's not industrialized really, and we're making a living at it. Our employees take pride in the fact that they're making something that was made 150 years ago.
In a small, traditional town like Tequila, nothing is built taller than the church in town. And I think it's safe to say, when it comes to the spirit of tequila, it'll be hard to find a family that stands taller than the Sauzas.
Very few people get to walk in the footsteps of their abuelo, bisabuelo, and tatarabuelo. I'm very fortunate to be doing this, to be able to conserve all of these traditions, to keep them going, and I hope they can keep going into the future. I like to think that we kind of rescued history here. Thank you for coming to visit us.
I appreciate you very much, Guillermo. Salud. Well, to 150 more years.
150 more years.
Yes, sir.